Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Christine here with the High Elves in Total War Warhammer 3, playing Tyrion and his campaign. This is the most popular High Elven campaign in the game, according to the polls that I've done, and according to what a lot of people have said in comments, Reddit, etc. It's a fairly simple campaign, but it can be a bit deceptive in some ways. See, one of the great things about Ulthuan is the territory, lots of landmarks, significant economic potential. But the problem is the confederation. And what I've discovered, and at least this is my personal conclusion after a dozen or maybe 24 hours of testing and trying to make this work, is the following conclusion is what I believe in. I could be wrong on this, but here's my perspective. The way Confederation works for the High Elves is, of course, based on things like faction strength. So if you're much stronger than a faction, if you're liked by a faction, if a faction is at war with many other factions and they're threatening them, all of that will count towards Confederation. But there's a catch for the High Elves, and I think predominantly for the High Elves. Might be the case for other factions as well. I don't know. I have just noticed it with the High Elves in over 20 hours of play, trying to make this work. So, with the High Elves, one key factor is Ulthuan. And what I mean by that is factions that have a lot of territory in Ulthuan, or more territory than you in Ulthuan, are going to be unwilling to confederate. It doesn't matter if they're weak, it doesn't matter if they're going to get wiped out or anything like that. It's just going to make it much harder to confederate. Also feels like High Elves do value long-term relationships. So it takes many turns potentially in terms of a relationship with a High Elf for them to be willing to confederate. So trying to confederate something like Saffery is difficult. It's difficult not because you can't build that relationship or gain more territory than them in the long term. It's difficult also because if you're playing any campaign, Alariel and Tyrion are going to obliterate them. So in this case, if I'm playing Tyrion, Alariel is going to go to war with them. If I'm playing Alariel, and I've tried it, Tyrion will go to war with them. That does tend to happen regardless. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play this campaign as Tyrion. I'm using only auto-resolve mods and toggle flag of war for the purposes of this video. Auto-resolve does not change the AI behavior in any way, shape, or form from plenty of hours, hundreds and hundreds of hours testing with and without. It just saves me a lot of time because the battles, the vast majority of battles, very few battles are actually challenging for me personally. For other people, that's a different discussion. But this is on legendary, very hard battle difficulty. AI behavior is different, resources are different, so just keep that in mind that if you're playing on other difficulty, some of the things in this video will not apply. So what you want to do with Tyrion over here is what you normally do in a campaign with him. You just take over the Tower of Lycian. And what you want to do is you want to get the noble as quickly as possible, and you want to get your income as quickly as possible, and just, recruit some archers with him. Archers with light armor, that's what I prefer. Get a trade agreement with Alariel, and maybe one with Illyrian non-aggression pact as well. You could declare war on Illyrian and wipe them out if you want to, but for a moment it's not necessarily in your interest to declare any wars, nor is it in your interest to do anything else than that. Beyond that, while we can get the Tower of Lycian to a higher tier, we don't want to right now. One of the things I recommend if you're trying to dominate in a High Elven campaign is you start a campaign as, say, Alfarian or anyone else, get a bunch of influence and get lords with good traits. So, for instance, this fellow right here, he'll have efficiency, so he'll have a good amount of upkeep benefits with the basic High Elven units. Research-wise, you want to get archer prowess, spear wall, militia training, and eventually get precise fletching. That's the only thing that matters research-wise. The leveling process is harmonic convergence for your mage, root marcher, inspiring presence. You want to go with Majesty of Ulthuan for Tyrion. Now, Tyrion has 3 quests for items. Two of them will be quest battles. One of them's harder than the other. There's one near Saffery and one against Malekith. The one against Malekith is harder than the one in Saffery. Saffery's pretty easy. It's a relatively weak army. Malekith, he can be a bit of a challenge. The reason I'm getting rid of this is because I want to build a barracks. Okay, so that's turn 1. Now, the reason I recruited the Lord and Lawfern is I don't have enough movement range to go for the port settlement in this province. The port settlements besides Lawfern. So instead, what I am going to do with that secondary army is I'm going to march it for the port and then move Tyrion in force march to support them. I can transfer the units to the army. They won't be tired. It is an exploit. You can consider that. Like, this is the thing. You know, maybe some of these things should work differently, right? But that's how the game currently works. And the AI uses this. Well, the AI doesn't quite use this to the same extent, but the AI cheats. As long as the AI cheats, I'm fine. Yeah, cheating, quote unquote. Or it's not cheating. Like, abusing the game is not the same as, say, loading a mod that gives you a lot of money or using a console command. Regardless, what I want to do here is I want to start building a barracks instantly right here, and then yeah, just force march Tyrion over here, and we will be able to defeat this army. It's obviously not an army that can withstand Tyrion. Like, Tyrion would do a lot against this particular army. If you do want to not move over there, that's fine. Now, here's the thing. You could take on the Shrine of Assyrian, but we're actually going to keep these Dark Elves alive for over 10 turns because we want to use them. See, the High Elves hate the Dark Elves, and the Dark Elves hate the High Elves. So one of the things that's naturally going to occur is that they'll declare war against each other. It will take these guys some time to build up, but things like Calidor, Saffery, Alariel, they're all going to declare war against this faction. And we want to take advantage of that. We also may want to get the second Lord over here, but that's not necessarily a priority right now. What are we going to do instead? Are we going to march against Saffery? No. We're going to march against the Greenskins here and take this entire province. We're doing this for a couple of reasons, but the predominant one is we want to build good relations with Elfarion. And by fighting a war with him. I know, stupid shit. But we want to take this province, gain a lot of money, gain a lot of good reputation with Elfarion, so that we can set ourselves up for an earlier confederation with him than you might usually get. Alariel likes us a lot, though certainly the relationship with her can suffer. You can get military access. Don't get a defensive alliance with her early, because you can get that at one point, but it's just good to wait that out, because here's the thing about alliances. A faction has a strength ranking. If you make an alliance with a faction, your strength ranking is going to in some way be added to theirs. And this is important for the sake of confederation, because remember what I said. High Elves value long-term relationships, sure, but the inherent issues of confederation, like being stronger, having good relations, having a faction with limited territory, especially for a High Elven campaign, all of that matters. Now, how this plays out in your campaign is going to come down to this. What is Nakari going to do in this situation? And crucially, what is Alariel going to do? Is she going to take the Phoenix Gate? She does have a tall order to take it, because there's two armies over here. She starts a war with these Dark Elves. She's going to take the settlement, and then they'll reinforce the Phoenix Gate. I've seen numerous campaigns where it takes Alariel ages to take that Phoenix Gate. So just keep that in mind. Also keep in mind how one of the reasons you may not want to get a defensive alliance with her as quickly as possible is the AI does make decisions based on its strength. So if it feels it's stronger, it's going to be more aggressive with what it has. So Alariel can win this in our resolve. But it's a question of, like, does the AI perceive itself strong enough to deal with it? That is the question. So that's one of the reasons I recommend you not doing it, because yeah, it can screw you over. So deal with the greenskins. You can also cheese it a bit over here by, like, oh, let me just sell this port, or, you know, some other settlements, and just claim them back. So, like, one of the things you may want to do here very quickly is declare war on, like, sell two settlements over here to these greenskins, get a bunch of money from them. Though you could wait an extra turn with that, by the way. And then declare war. And the settlements will not have a garrison to stop you, pointedly. And now we can obviously just stop the recruitment and pick up this settlement, pick it again. Tyrion will be ready to march over here. And their army might be there, which is good. It's going to take Elfarian a couple of turns, but this is the reason we want to rush for them. That's one of the big reasons. Make sure you get the Thunderbolt. Tyrion is quite capable of dealing with all of this, so I'm not going to go over the details. Like, if you need advice on how to defeat a bunch of goblins or orc boys with Tyrion, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's like very easy. Siege battles can be a bit complicated, but not really. Like, your archers far outrange them, so it's like just point and shoot, obliterate them. And Tyrion can solo armies, more or less, even by default. Okay, so over here on turn 6, I have taken the Shrine of Loak, and I am ready to move on against Saffery. I could go for a Elfarian, but at the moment I do want to get the Shrine of Asuryan first before I do that. There is a chance of rebellion, so I'm actually going to stop my income over here to delay that for as long as I possibly can. And I'm going to get the plaza. Now what I've done here is I've gotten 4 archers here, archer noble combination. And what I want to do here is I want to recruit a lord. It doesn't matter what it is, really. Like, can be a complete nobody. And I just want to trade all of these settlements to Saffery. I was going to build up this particular settlement so to trade the Tolfarian, but it's not really relevant right now. That was the initial plan. It ran into a bit of a problem. Regardless, what we want to do is just sell all of these things to Saffery, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Having a good relationship with them is kind of nice to have, because you might be able to push them into a confederation. But it will certainly take a bit of doing. Okay, so just sell this particular port. The money is nice, but it's not important. Shrine of Loak. We're not going to sell the capital to them. Okay. Shrine of Loak. Yep. We can, however, sell the capital to them, because they will accept that, and then this is a bunch of, back and forth. So, just basically you gotta find a kind of situation where you can get this kind of trade, and just keep doing it until you get a good amount of diplomatic relations with them. And you do this for Elfarian, you do this for Dark Elves, you do this for everyone involved. So now we can get Karen Fell. That's the benefit. And what we want to do is just push up our diplomatic relations with these guys as much as possible, right? But at this point, we don't need to do that too much. So we just sell this for the capital, get it back, make sure you get it back. And now we declare war on them. Okay. So over here, just simple declaration of war. Tyrion certainly can deal with that.
We are the conquerors.
Alright. You don't want to... Okay. It's a bit of a shame that he doesn't have the movement range, but it's fine. It says heroic victory, our assaults are a thing. We don't have regiments renowned, but we don't need them. Like, basically, these guys will get garrisons, but they're going to be very, very basic garrisons that they're going to have. And so, while there are certainly some battles, like this one, that I might not be able to deal with so easily, it's, truth be told, having an actual army leader is like such a significant benefit. It's not something to laugh at. Okay. So now We can force march Tyrion over here.
Your behest?
Just get more archers. Actually, let's just... We might get that rebellion. No problem. We can deal with that. It would be better if I had gotten some regiments right now. But tricky battle, certainly. But honestly, like, winnable, because it's like the spearmen won't do damage, and your guys can. Now, they won't accept the peace, but I'm not interested in that right now. And you might say, well, what about their army, right? What about it? It's not gonna matter. Now, fun fact, it does feel to me like you get more growth when you do this kind of region trading. What's important to note here, however, is this. You get... Why did I risk it with Saffery? Well, they're not in Port Elistor, so unless they're in Port Elistor, they can't obviously attack me here. And almost all the time, Saffery's army is going to be there in Torfinu. This is something I have seen time and time again. So, you know, I can take Port Elistor and get a peace agreement with them if I want to, or I can wipe them out. I have tried so many times, like it's not even a freaking joke at this point. I have tried so many times to get the confederation with them that I've just kind of given up. I think it's down to the fact that their capital is pretty damn far from any kind of danger, so that's the reason why it's so difficult to confederate them. But yeah, you just take Tyrion's super powerful freaking army and just go and obliterate them. Sack Port Elistor, get them to show up, because it's a tier 2 settlement, get them to show up over here, wipe their army out, do the quest battle, and maybe get a peace agreement with the confederation involved in that process, if you can. Next turn, yeah, replace them, get the income. So now Saffery's done what I expected them to do. They've moved their entire force over here, and I can just send Tyrion to deal with this. Obviously, Tyrion winning that would be a pretty damn tall order. Not gonna lie about that one. But he is not alone. Over here, what you want to get is actually the growth building and the public order building. What's the purpose of those guys just chilling out? Well, there is a purpose. Get the noble in Tyrion's army. 17 units, but not just 17, because we got reinforcements on the way. And I'll actually move this fellow right here so you can trade some units. Okay, that's enough. So they won't be tired. This is enough to win this battle. You could attack and sack it, and they'll move to try and protect it. But the problem, like, normally, at this point, you would possibly make an argument in favor of, like, oh, maybe, you know, maybe I could confederate them or get some peace agreement or something like that, right? Yeah, unfortunately, that's not gonna work. I'm sorry. So, rebellion, potentially propping up there. So, we just go deal with Saffery, no problem. We can even go fight that quest battle, although I would not recommend doing it right now. Because, like, we're obviously damaged. And also, we need more spearmen.
Lord of the Phoenix Court.
So pull this guy back and just pick up more archers. So yeah, just go deal with Saffery. It is a difficult siege, but you can actually spend their time. Keep in mind, my diplomatic relations with them are increasing. Alright, so I decided to not even bother trying to get Saffery under my control, so I'm just going to attack and obliterate them over here in their last settlement. And now we can start getting growth, right? We do still have the situation over there with respect to all of that. but I'm not too concerned
Read the
about
grace
it.
given forth.
I did fight one of Tyrion's quest battles,
Prince, onward.
and I also, yeah, just kind of split my troops right there, so we can fight the Sunfang battle. This is, like, Malekith can be a bit tricky, but this is genuinely freaking easy, really.
Ulthuan's defender.
And yeah, make sure to move Tyrion over here, get some spearmen for that one,
Dispatch me.
and don't worry too much. I could always level that up, yeah, because I do need to wait a couple of turns anyway. Oh, they're at war with her. You know, keeping them alive might have the added benefit of ensuring Alariel doesn't... Like, Alariel just not
always find a wolf.
being a freaking thorn in my side.
Ulthuan Prince.
Interesting idea, really. Okay. Anyway, so just gonna skip ahead a couple of turns while I keep recruiting stuff. And Calador also joined this war, so they might actually march their army next to Lothern, which would put them in a vulnerable position. Because they do have an army. They haven't been touched. So there's one over there, of course, like a full stack and Volsamble, right? If these guys start marching over to the Shrine of Assyrian, they'll have to pass by Lothern, and I can wipe them out. But yeah, jeez, keeping these Dark Elves alive is bloody useful in so many ways. So now I can declare war on them and reclaim all of my lost lands. Not a problem. But first, we're gonna make some money off of them. Because why wouldn't we? So just sell a couple of these particular settlements. Like the ones that are in a vulnerable position. So like, you know, Karen Fell. Although, maybe I wouldn't want to sell that without an extra lord to recapture it, that is, of course. So just pick up whatever lord, doesn't matter.
Defender of the Phoenix throne.
It does not freaking matter. So now we have a one population surplus over there.
As you say.
Still. Just go for it all. Take all their money. And then some. Because we've been struggling a bit with money over here in this particular campaign. Make sure you don't sell the White Tower of Hoth. I mean, the whole point with Saffery is kind of like you want to ensure. And yeah, in this case, I'm not even going to sell the Tower. So yeah, money. And now declare war and take everything that we deserve back. One population surplus point, almost to 2. It's kinda load of bullshit, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, just cancel that because we're gonna get 2 population surplus. So over here I'm at 1. It would take 25 turns.
I serve the king.
9 turns.
You need me? Can I offer assistance?
7 turns. We will have to build this up properly, right? So.
How can I assist you? You called?
Okay. Here he has a particular purpose.
Moving off.
He'll take that settlement, but first he'll transfer all the archers there. Oh, okay. So it is gonna take an extra freaking turn to sort that all out. Okay, no problem. And here we can deal with Calador. But first, deal with this. It would be a more tricky battle, to be sure, especially followed up by a siege, but I mean, there is no army in Calador anymore because they marched past Lothern and I just obliterated them. Does kind of feel when you trade an entire province away that you're really screwing over the AI in a pretty major way, not gonna lie. Kinda didn't need to keep this guy over here, but I mean, there's pros.
Your will is
So yeah, rebellion.
What news?
Whatever. Get the money. Get the money. Do note that I'm not at war with Tyrion just yet. So, yeah. Can't just go deal with that. You can wait until the rebellion starts besieging your city over there. Just wipe them out with extreme prejudice. We can also abuse Tyrion for our own ends. Not yet. Not just yet. Next turn. Or the turn after this, right? Because Tyrion still has something to give us. I just do feel generally... Okay, so Phoenix Gate, capture that.
I bid you welcome.
You gonna do it, Valerial? Maybe she won't. Okay, just upgrade that too. She doesn't particularly like us at this point, but I'm fine with that. Got barracks over there. And yeah, just crush the rebellion because it's like, whatever. Yeah, that barracks is going to be beneficial when dealing with Elfarian. Okay, so all of these guys can go to Alistair. Okay, we can get rid of him. We don't need him anymore. So many princes. And yeah, easy life, easy battle, no problem. Higher tier. Get rid of it in the Shrine of Assyrian. Start growing all this stuff. Yeah, let's get the Tower of Lycian to a higher level.
Do my duty.
Oh, but Costin, you're losing money. Okay, what about it? I don't really care at the moment. And honestly, I'm not even losing that much money.
Ready to march.
So it's like,
Your orders are reasonable.
whatever from my perspective. Gonna get rid of him, I don't need him.
Order is restored.
Alistair will do the work.
Tyrion, I will.
That I need him to over there.
I lust for battle. Shield.
Alright, we got... So unless they get wiped out next turn, which, you know, possibilities do exist with respect to that. But if they do get wiped out, I'll just use Noctilus for the same damn purpose. I love using my enemies to do my work. Yeah, Blade Master. So yeah, that's a rebellion. Comet of Cassandora. Now, the reason we're getting the Mage Tower is not actually to do anything with mages. It's because we want precise fletching. That's the reason for it. Oh, and our income is positive now.
I bid you welcome.
Hilarity ensues. She won't declare war on us, and we can always play this angle. Right? To improve our relationship. Actually, we can even do it even further. Like, this is the reason I use load save character system if I'm playing a high elf campaign, and why I recommend you do it too. The best one to do it with, like, if you want handmaidens, do it with Alario. They don't need that. Like, it's kind of like just mages and nobles are important, and it's like techless and like nobles anyone can get fairly early on. All right, so that's not gonna hurt you in any way, suffice to say. Okay, so over here we can just pick up a prince. Right. And it depends on whether or not Tyrion gets destroyed. Okay, he wants to offer me something that he is not capable of delivering on right now. So. We will certainly declare war on Elfarian, though. Oh, yeah. Another victim. No joke. No freaking joke on that. Maybe I can sell him the Shrine of Asuryan. Hilarity ensues. So, okay, yeah, Tyrion, the last element over here, does take a bit more time usually to get sorted out. But because we don't have any kind of agreement with Tyrion, we can abuse that. So, yeah, why not? We can also abuse freaking Alfarian if we want to. Though I will need to get one army here just because.
How can I assist you? Ready to march.
Okay. So Shrine of Asuryan is tier 1. Okay, we can trade that to Alfarian though. Probably shouldn't have sold that barracks, but what do I care?
I go.
So yeah, this army can take this tier 1 settlement.
Marching out.
Okay. So what we want to do here is just like trade all of this stuff to Alfarian for a good amount of cash.
In my father's name.
And you'll trade the entire province to him, by the way. Back and forth, if need be. If you can manage it. It's not necessarily so important that you get the best relationship with Alfarian. Though it would certainly be useful. So I just get all of this. So what's our relationship? 61.
It is necessary.
I can even cancel that particular structure right there. But there's a reason why I didn't build up that port, right?
I will consider any suggestion that aids Tor Ivres.
Reasons. And I can even... Yeah, I'm certainly recruiting and replacing a lot of lords, am I not?
Can I offer assistance?
Your command?
Alright, so right now I'm 1 surplus point, right?
I trust that you too are pledged to safeguard the Waystones.
Yeah, you won't give me that for free.
For the fallen.
We can go even further. Hardcore. Port Elistor? Sure. Yeah. He's gonna value... he's gonna value that one.
Expects.
Quite a damn bit. The Shrine of Asuryan for... Yeah, he's not gonna give us. Shrine of Asuryan, let's say Shrine of Loic for Port Elistor, maybe? Yep. Because I don't want to break up my own bloody port. Okay, so 1 person... yeah, I know, I screwed myself over here with that particular trade. Okay.
Do not expect pleasantries.
So, Shrine of Asuryan.
Is all that matters. It is
Where
necessary.
are we at? 261. We should be able to get a peace tree fairly easily. Right here. With him. I screwed myself over because obviously I spent the money. But now, just declare war. Take the shrine back, no problem. We can finally build it up properly. Start building stuff.
Can I offer assistance?
The Asur follows straight. You should not be here.
And yeah, growth time has been reduced, gentlemen.
Can I offer assistance? Can I? My prowess is needed. Your will is done.
Can just take all of this stuff back. Don't worry, I'll get rid of some of these armies, right? For freaking obvious reasons.
Have you come to help me avenge
So now
my
we
father?
can just
If not,
give him back current fell. We do need a bit more money, but we have solutions.
I am honored.
The solution calling itself freaking Terranok is gonna come to the rescue.
I serve the king.
You have
So
to file
just
the Phoenix Court.
give
Speak quickly. A
all
wise
of this and Vol's Anvil. I'm not even interested in playing the game right now too much.
How wise.
Okay, and then go to Illyrian and say, hey, you want me to declare war on these guys? Sure.
Time is precious, so please make
Get
very
paid for
well.
it too.
You
Lord of Fear.
It's all good fun. And now just, yeah, take the settlements. They're gonna be low level, but who gives a shit?
For my queen. How can I
Disband this
assist?
army.
Sunfang hungers.
Paid for itself,
This place
really.
is ours.
Fun fact, public order also resets itself when you do shit like that. Good stuff.
Defender of the
I trust
And now we can get that peace
are
agreement
pledged to safeguard the Waystones.
with him.
For
Yeah,
the
even
fallen.
less money. So he does like us.
Tor Evres expects.
There we go. Money made.
You have a proposal for the Asur. How to like? Quite impossible.
And that will hopefully push Ulthuan towards a confederation. Sooner rather than later. But I do need to spend my time getting territory. The Saffery is just not worth the freaking investment in all of this.
In defense of Ulthuan.
But get rid of some of these guys
It should
and
be
you'll be
praised.
fine in terms of upkeep.
defender of the Phoenix throne.
Like over here, just this army.
You need me.
Yeah, lots of armies. Well, one turn away from one surplus points for this particular settlement.
Cruel and deadly.
So now just, you know, play the campaign normally, because everything that follows after this, you just clear the coastline. You might want to send an army to help Alariel to get the quest item done if she's screwing around over there too much. And maybe hit Nakari from the back.
Prince of Ulthuan.
Whereas Tyrion, you just make a beeline for Marathi.
Prince.
So let's see how all of this plays out. So now comes the moment for the great freaking irony that the faction that I can confederate is not Elfarian, with whom I put in quite a bit of effort to actually get it done. No, it is Alariel.
matters do you wish to lay before the
Alariel. But
serene Nestra?
victory, so to speak. Most of Ulthuan is under my control or under allied control. Only that tiny bit right there is not.
High Elven.
And it doesn't matter really. Just get rid of these units, merge stuff together.
Alariel the
That's
Everqueen.
certainly going to create some complications in its own right. Don't get me wrong on that one.
Behold my power.
Do I need that handmaiden? Truth be told, I don't need any of this.
Most astute.
So we're just gonna give Alariel the most.
Weaver of spells.
Okay, and get rid of that army because we obviously can't afford it. Take the handmaiden, disband this army,
Ulthuan prevails. Asurian.
and while obviously not perfect, it is
Handmaiden
a
of Alariel.
step in the right direction.
Prince.
And also
A
we can sell
dignified
this to
visitor.
Illyrian, so
Such a
it's
rare
like
treat.
Taran Lek. It's
Welcome.
like, yep, solve
will see to
our
it.
financial issues.
Cruel.
That will make it easier to confederate them. So what happens now? Well, I've got Alistair
Ulthuan prince.
marching here to deal with these things. I'm possibly, like, Alfarian will be easy to confederate at this point. What I've noticed with High Elves
What would you wish to discuss?
is that the more of Ulthuan you control, at the very least, the easier it is to confederate them. Maybe it's something to do with the priorities of the AI, because High Elves do care about Ulthuan. So if you do gain all of it, then yeah, it's a lot easier to pull off a confederation with them. Alariel isn't a surprising target for the first confederation, because she does like Tyrion, after all. In more ways than one, suffice to say. But yeah, it's like, at this point, the Eastern Front is kind of like weird. I mean, Grom's dealt with, Leonis kind of dealt with. They took a lot of damage to sack that settlement. And Alfarian's just going to put them in his place. He is probably going to die there. So if I just click this intern button right here and see what ends up happening, I will not be surprised if Be'lakor just snaps him in half right there. Simple shit. And it's fine, like, Alistair will just resolve that problem, because, like, Be'lakor is going to be weak. And honestly, Be'lakor, the problem with Warriors of Chaos, what people have noticed is that Warriors of Chaos do not even use the special kind of recruitment that they do have. And yeah, that's Alfarian gone. So basically, this turn, Alfarian would have gone down. Tyrion is marching against Morathi Estancia. Yeah, you know, once I get Alariel sorted out with some troops, I'll just deal with that situation. I'm pretty happy with all of this.
Alariel's champion.
I might just skip 10 turns ahead to show you what, or a couple of turns. Ooh, Morathi. Morathi, you are a nasty girl. That is a lot of people to put in ambush.
Shield against the darkness.
Jeez. Talk about force. So, holy crap. That is something. But yeah, let me just skip ahead 4 turns and show you what happens with regards to the Confederation situation. Although, yeah, just make sure you pick up this kind of treasure, because there's pretty high chance that, you know, you might get a battle, which would be quite a bit of money, I'm not gonna lie to you. And anyway.
Lord of the Phoenix.
Okay. I mean, Alariel's usefulness here is that she can attack this particular settlement and even be supported by that second army right there. I mean, she would not win that one on her own. But it's kind of relevant because we can get this army to support it. You would want to give all the archers to her, though. Like, especially these kind of guys. Even, like, just make sure that second army has a bunch of spearmen. And when you're in this kind of situation, just... Yeah, Nakari is a nasty one. But, you know, by the time Nakari deploys, your reinforcements should deploy, so it's like, whatever. You can even, like, kind of march them here. And mind you, your spearmen would take incredible damage in this one, but don't care. Here's an eagle. The eagles are coming.
Your instructions.
Be'lakor is coming, more like. Yeah, just gonna skip ahead. The battle against Morathi would be a tricky one, but it's like fighting Morathi there. You could just leave her be for a while until Estancia is just until Estancia gets the shit kicked out of her. All this lovely money. Oh dear. Yeah, High Elves are freaking ridiculous after a certain point, aren't they? They absolutely freaking are. That is a ridiculously that is a ridiculously horrible waste of a good skill, I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's not
And yeah, we can get that. We can start working on some stuff, peace agreement wise.
Dark so
For whatever reason, Grom just gets usually obliterated by
Tyrion, heir of an area.
by Bretonia.
Service.
Sad state of affairs, poor Grom. So these guys are done.
Do not expect.
It is a shame to lose his Silver Guard and his Faith Bearers, but it's not really the end of the world. And so now over here on turn 26,
my maidens.
we are in a position to confederate Ulthuan. It's all over. Illyrian might take a bit more time, sure. And everything that I did against Morathi, thanks Ostankia, what can I say? That's the thing when you rush against Morathi without waiting for Ostankia to be a bit wiped out, or for Morathi to be wiped out. You just end up losing as a result of the process. But now with pretty much all of Ulthuan under my control, Illyrian is gonna be next, so in 4 turns I would have control, in 5 turns I would have control over all of Ulthuan. Directly. Like, with the pretty good income, pretty good situation, all things considered. So, yeah, mission accomplished. Goal accomplished. Essentially, in all of this. And that was the intent, like, creating a kind of situation. Oh, this is actually his original army. Okay, so he didn't lose it. I don't know why he transitioned over there, but I guess, you know, sometimes just what it is, right? Where is Cavill? But I don't know. I don't really care.
Light triumphs over darkness.
Or maybe... Yeah, and I also crucially get the tier 4 capital, which is not something to sneeze at, because it gives us lore masters, handmaidens, both of those at the same time. So, like, taking advantage of Ulthuan, but letting him... Like, high elves really don't react well to the confederation cheese, so you kind of have to work for it. Like, the Empire is easy, Kislev is incredibly easy, but not the high elves. Like, Saffery, I just gave up. Like, if anyone can confederate Saffery within like 10, 15 turns, please let me know how the freaking hell you do it, because I've spent hours trying to pull that off, and I couldn't. Kostin signing out. Thank you all for watching, stay tuned for more.